Have you ever wished you could have like a chatbot, but not just a smart one, a chatbot that was like deeply knowledgeable about your like unique data? So imagine you could ask it about like a company's return policy.
Right.
And instead of just like searching the internet, it pulls the answer straight from the company's actual documentation.
Yeah.
Or you could query like your sales data just by asking,
Huh.
what was our top selling product last November?
Okay.
That is the potential of retrieval augmented generation, or as the cool kids call it, a RAG.
Yeah.
It's this way to make AI incredibly precise and insightful.
And today we're diving into an exciting development in GraphRag.
Okay.
And how it's changing the game by tapping into the power of knowledge graphs. Think of it as giving AI a deep understanding of how different pieces of information relate to each other, not just finding isolated facts.
Okay, I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
So RAG is about connecting AI to the most relevant information. Where does the graph part come in, and why is it so important?
Well, traditional RAG is great at finding information within text, like searching for keywords in a document.
Okay.
But when it comes to complex questions involving relationships between data,
Right.
things get trickier.
Yeah.
Imagine you have like sales data, customer reviews, and product information all spread across different systems. To answer a question like, which product received the most positive reviews from customers in a specific region,
Okay.
you need more than just keywords.
Yeah.
You need to understand how all of those data points connect to each other.
Right. It's like the difference between having a list of ingredients and actually like understanding a recipe. You need to know how those ingredients interact
Exactly.
to create the final dish.
That's where GraphRag shines. It helps build a knowledge graph, a kind of map that visually represents these relationships between entities. Imagine a web of interconnected nodes, where each node represents a piece of data, like a product, a customer, or a location, and the connections between them represent the relationships.
So with GraphRag, the AI doesn't just see isolated pieces of data. It sees the entire picture,
Yes.
understanding how everything fits together.
Precisely. And this is where Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases comes in. It uses a powerful graph database called Neptune to store and query these knowledge graphs. It allows the AI to traverse these relationships,
Okay.
drawing insights and providing answers that traditional ARGI systems might miss.
Okay, so we've got this knowledge graph built from our various data sources.
Right.
And Bedrock Knowledge Bases is using Neptune to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
This sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But can you give me a real-world example of how this actually works?
Absolutely. Let's imagine you're a retail company.
Okay.
And you want to understand the buying habits of your customers. You have customer purchase history, product information, and even social media sentiment data.
Wow.
GraphRag can create a knowledge graph that connects all of these data sources.
Okay.
It can identify that a specific customer bought a certain product, which is also frequently mentioned positively on social media. This level of insight allows you to personalize marketing campaigns, recommend related products, and even predict future trends.
This is making me think about all sorts of possibilities.
Yeah,
I can see how this could be transformative for businesses.
Yeah.
Especially for those dealing with large and complex data sets.
You're absolutely right. And the beauty of GraphRag is that it can be applied to a wide range of industries and use cases, whether you're analyzing financial data, researching scientific literature, or even developing a smarter chatbot. The ability to understand the relationships within your data is invaluable.
This is truly groundbreaking stuff. But let's break this down a bit further for our listeners.
Okay.
How does GraphRag actually build these knowledge graphs?
Yeah.
It sounds incredibly complex.
It is sophisticated, but the concept is pretty intuitive.
Okay.
GraphRag identifies entities, which are the key elements in your data, like people, products, or locations. Then it analyzes the relationships between these entities.
Right.
It can understand that a customer purchased a product.
Right. An author wrote a book. Or a city is located in a country.
So it's like teaching the AI to read and comprehend not just individual words, but the entire structure of a sentence, understanding the subject, the verb, and the object.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And by building this map of interconnected entities and relationships,
Right.
GraphRag unlocks a level of understanding that goes far beyond simple keyword matching. It allows the AI to reason about your data,
Okay.
answer complex questions,
Yeah.
and even make predictions based on the intricate connections it has discovered.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases specifically. We've established it's a key player in all of this, but what are some of the key features that make it stand out in the world of knowledge graphs and data management?
One of the things that really sets it apart is its ability to seamlessly integrate with your existing data infrastructure. You can connect Bedrock knowledge bases to various data sources, including Amazon S3, relational databases.
And of course, the Neptune graph database we discussed earlier. It's incredibly flexible.
So it's not about replacing your existing systems,
right,
but about enhancing them with this powerful knowledge graph layer.
Exactly. And another crucial aspect is security. Bedrock knowledge bases ensures that your data remains protected and under your control. It doesn't move or copy your data, it simply accesses it to generate those incredibly precise queries and insights. It's like having a highly skilled researcher who knows exactly where to find the information they need without needing to make copies of everything.
It's all about efficiency and security music to any company's ears. And I understand there's another layer to this story. Bedrock knowledge bases is also designed to be conversational, right?
Absolutely. This is where things get really interesting for users. The system remembers past interactions, so you can ask follow-up questions and get even more refined results without having to repeat information. This means interacting with your data starts to feel much more natural, like having a back-and-forth conversation with a human expert who knows your data inside and out.
That's impressive. So we've covered a lot of ground here. We've talked about RAG, the evolution to GraphRag, and how Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases leverages the power of knowledge graphs to unlock incredible insights. But I'm curious to hear about some real-world examples of how this technology is being applied today.
There are already some fascinating use cases emerging. For example, I recently read about a financial services company using Bedrock knowledge bases to power their risk assessment models. They're able to connect data from various sources, including market trends, customer profiles, and even news sentiment, to create a comprehensive knowledge graph that provides a much more nuanced understanding of risk factors.
That's a great example, and I know you mentioned this earlier, but I think it's worth reiterating for our listeners. Bedrock knowledge bases is not just for tech giants or data scientists. It's designed to be accessible to businesses of all sizes and across various industries.
Absolutely. And that's one of the most exciting things about this technology. It's democratizing access to sophisticated AI tools that were once only available to large enterprises with significant resources. Now, even smaller companies can leverage the power of knowledge graphs and data analysis to gain a competitive edge.
So we've got this incredible technology that can connect the dots between our data, provide deep insights, and it's accessible to organizations of all shapes and sizes. It's clear that GraphRag and Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases are pushing the boundaries of what's possible with AI and data management. But I'm curious, what are some of the challenges that come with implementing these solutions? What should our listeners be aware of as they explore these possibilities for their own work or organizations?
That's a great question. While GraphRag and Bedrock knowledge bases offer incredible potential, there are definitely some considerations when implementing them. You know, it's not like flipping a switch and suddenly having all the answers.
That's a great question. While GraphRag and Bedrock knowledge bases offer incredible potential, there are definitely some considerations when implementing them. It's not like flipping a switch and suddenly having all the answers.
It's important to have realistic expectations. One of the key challenges is data preparation. Before you can build a knowledge graph, you need to ensure your data is clean, consistent, and well-structured. Think of it like preparing ingredients for a complex recipe. You wouldn't want to start cooking with wilted vegetables and expired spices.
So garbage in, garbage out, as they say.
Exactly.
Even with the most advanced AI, the quality of your insights depends on the quality of your data. What are some other things to consider?
Well, building and maintaining a knowledge graph can be computationally intensive.
I bet.
Especially if you're dealing with massive data sets. You need to have the right infrastructure in place, and that's where the cloud comes in. Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases running on AWS handles a lot of the heavy lifting for you, making it much more manageable.
That makes sense. It's like having a team of expert chefs and a fully equipped kitchen at your disposal. Rather than trying to cook a gourmet meal in a tiny apartment kitchen. So data prep and infrastructure are key. What about the actual process of using Bedrock knowledge bases? Is it user-friendly, or does it require a lot of technical expertise?
One of the things that's really impressive about Bedrock knowledge bases is that it's designed with both developers and business users in mind. For developers, it offers powerful APIs and tools to integrate with their applications. But it also provides a more intuitive interface for business users who might not be familiar with the technical intricacies of graph databases.
So you don't need to be a data scientist with a PhD to benefit from this technology.
Right.
That's a big win for accessibility.
Absolutely. And this ties into another important point: collaboration. To get the most out of Bedrock knowledge bases, you need good communication between the technical teams who are building and maintaining the system and the business users who are asking the questions and interpreting the insights.
It's like any successful recipe.
Yeah.
You need the chefs to understand the techniques and ingredients, but you also need the diners to provide feedback on what they want to eat and how they like the flavors.
Exactly.
But let's talk a little bit about the evolution of this technology. We've come a long way from basic chatbots to sophisticated systems that can reason about data and answer complex questions.
Right.
Where do you see this heading in the future?
One area that I'm particularly excited about is the integration of knowledge graphs with other AI technologies like machine learning and natural language processing. Imagine a system that can not only answer your questions, but also learn from your interactions.
Right.
Constantly refining its understanding of your data and providing even more personalized and relevant insights.
It's like having a personal AI assistant that becomes more knowledgeable and helpful over time, almost like a trusted advisor.
Exactly. And as this technology continues to evolve, we're going to see even more creative and innovative applications emerge.
Okay.
Imagine knowledge graphs being used to power personalized education platforms that tailor learning paths to individual students' needs, or to develop smarter healthcare systems that can diagnose diseases with greater accuracy.
The possibilities seem endless. It's like we're on the verge of a knowledge revolution.
Yeah.
AI is empowering us to understand and leverage information in ways we never thought possible. But with all this talk of AI and its increasing capabilities, it's natural for some people to feel a bit apprehensive. What are your thoughts on the ethical considerations surrounding AI and the potential impact on jobs in the workforce?
Those are very important questions. Like any powerful technology, AI needs to be developed and used responsibly. It's crucial to have open discussions about potential biases in algorithms, the importance of data privacy, and the need for transparency in how AI systems make decisions. As for the impact on jobs, I believe AI will ultimately create more opportunities than it eliminates. Many tasks that are repetitive or require a lot of manual effort will likely be automated, freeing up humans to focus on more creative, strategic, and fulfilling work.
So it's not about replacing humans, but about augmenting our abilities and enabling us to achieve more.
Exactly.
It's a powerful message of collaboration and progress.
Precisely. And it's important to remember that AI is ultimately a tool. Its impact on society will depend on how we choose to use it. If we approach AI development with a focus on ethical considerations and human-centered design, we can harness its power to solve complex problems, improve lives, and create a more equitable and sustainable future.
That's a powerful and inspiring message. Now, I want to circle back to something we touched on earlier, the importance of data quality. It's clear that garbage in equals garbage out. What are some practical tips our listeners can take away to ensure they're setting themselves up for success when working with GraphRag and Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases?
That's a great question. First and foremost, it's crucial to invest in data cleansing and standardization. Make sure your data is consistent, accurate, and free from errors. This might involve deduplication, format conversions, and even manual verification. Think of it as laying a solid foundation for your knowledge graph.
So it's about getting your data house in order before you start building the furniture.
Exactly. And another important aspect is data governance. Establish clear processes for data collection, storage, and access. Define data ownership and responsibilities, and ensure compliance with relevant regulations.
It's about creating a system where everyone knows the rules of the road and how to handle data responsibly.
Precisely. And as you build your knowledge graph, focus on defining clear and meaningful relationships between entities. This requires domain expertise and a deep understanding of your data. Don't just connect everything to everything else. Be thoughtful about which connections are most relevant and insightful.
So it's about quality over quantity when it comes to relationships.
Exactly. And finally, remember that building a knowledge graph is an iterative process. Start with a small, well-defined scope. And gradually expand as you gain more experience and confidence. Don't be afraid to experiment and refine your approach as you go.
It's like starting with a simple recipe and gradually adding more ingredients and techniques as you become a more skilled chef.
Exactly.
Now let's shift gears a bit and talk about the user experience with Amazon Bedrock knowledge bases. We've discussed its technical capabilities, but how does it actually feel to use it? Is it intuitive, or does it require a steep learning curve?
It's a great question, and I'm glad you brought up the user experience because that's often a make or break factor when adopting a new technology.
Absolutely. And that's one of the things that's really impressive about Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases.
Right.
The team has put a lot of effort into making it user-friendly, even for those who aren't data scientists or developers.
Exactly. And one of the key features is the intuitive visual interface.
Okay.
You can actually see your knowledge graph represented graphically with nodes and connections, making it much easier to understand the relationships within your data. It's like having a visual map of your information landscape.
I could see how that would be much more engaging and accessible than staring at lines of code or spreadsheets.
Right.
It's about making data come alive in a way that anyone can grasp.
Exactly. And the interface also allows you to interact with your data in a very natural way. You can use simple search queries, ask questions in plain English, and even explore your data through visual filters and drill downs.
So it's like having a conversation with your data rather than interrogating it through complex commands. That's a game changer for accessibility and usability.
Absolutely. And it's not just about making things easier for individual users. Bedrock Knowledge Bases also promotes collaboration. Different teams within an organization can share and work on the same knowledge graph, ensuring everyone is on the same page and working with the most up-to-date information.
It's like having a shared brain for the organization where everyone can contribute their knowledge and insights.
Right.
That's a powerful concept for decision-making and problem-solving.
You got it. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's important to emphasize the transformative potential of GraphRag and Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases. We're not just talking about incremental improvements here.
No.
We're talking about a fundamental shift in how we understand and leverage data.
It's like moving from a world of isolated data points to a world of interconnected insights, where the AI is helping us see the bigger picture and make connections we might have otherwise missed.
Exactly. And this has profound implications for a wide range of fields. Imagine smarter search engines that can understand the intent behind your queries and provide more relevant results. Think about personalized healthcare treatments based on a deep understanding of your medical history and genetic makeup. Envision businesses making more informed decisions driven by real-time insights gleaned from a vast network of interconnected data.
It's a world where data is not just a collection of facts and figures, but a source of knowledge, wisdom, and ultimately progress. And as we conclude this deep dive, I want to leave our listeners with a final thought. We've talked about the power of GraphRag and Amazon Bedrock Knowledge Bases, but ultimately the true power lies in human curiosity and the desire to understand the world around us. AI is a tool that can help us on this journey of discovery, but it's up to us to ask the right questions, to challenge assumptions, and to use this knowledge wisely for the benefit of ourselves and society as a whole. Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible with data and AI.